Hi guys, welcome to Yoga with Pla. Today's video will be working on a split pose or Hanumanasana. You may need a strap and at least one block, and all levels are welcome. I'll give you some modifications. So let's start from lying down on your back and hug your knees to your chest. You can rock your knees from side to side, or grab the knees and start to circle your knees. And rotate. Open your knees wide apart, grab the feet or ankles, happy baby. And keep your hips heavy, lengthen the tailbone forward and down. And draw your shoulder blades to the floor and bring your shoulders away from the ears. Feel free to rock from side to side. And release your legs. Now you can use a strap and place it on the ball of your left foot. Hold the strap long enough that you can rest your elbows on the floor. Squeeze your elbows to your ribs. Now press both heels forward. Draw your belly into the spine and start to walk your hands up toward your foot. And maybe pull the foot to the head. Hold the strap with your left hand only. Your right hand press the right thigh down. As you exhale, bring your left leg to the side. Here I use my left elbow on the floor, or you can use the left elbow on the block. If your left thigh is not on the floor, you can have a block to support your thigh. And keep your shoulders relaxed here. Inhale, lift the leg up. We'll open the IT band. Switch your hand, so keep your right hand on the strap and bring your leg to the right. You press your left hand on the left thigh to draw your outer left hip away from the waist. And come up and switch the side. Hug your knee to your chest and straight your right leg up to the ceiling. Use strap. Engage your core, reach through both heels. And walk your arms up toward the foot. Hold the strap with your right hand only. Left hand press the left thigh down. And if some of you can grab your big toe with the right leg straight, go ahead. And as you exhale, bring your right leg to the side. Don't bring your leg too low as your left hip flare up to the ceiling. Just keep your hips nice and balanced. And come up. Switch your hand. Left hand on the foot or on the strap. Press your right hand to your right thigh to keep both sides of the waist nice and long. Inhale, lift the leg, and exhale, release. Now hug both knees to your chest and start to rock back and forth. And come all the way up, come onto your hands and knees. Draw the belly into the spine and spread your shoulder blades wide apart. We'll do some hips extension. So stretch your left leg back as you lift the leg up hip high. And keep the core tight here. Lift the leg from the inner thigh. Feel free to just keep your leg as high as your hips. And if you can open it up more, lift the leg higher without lifting your left hip. And release. Right leg back, lift your right thigh and lift the leg. You can point or flex your foot, but keep your leg nice and firm. And try to keep your bottom ribs in. And bring your knee down. Bring your hands, one hand forward and lift the hips up into your first downward facing dog. Move freely on your first down dog. You can swing your hips from left to right or paddling your feet. Or keep your legs bent to keep the spine nice and long. You may have your feet a mat apart and walk your hands back about a foot back and have your right hand grab your left ankle. Draw your chest to your left thigh. And switch the side. Open up the hamstrings. Start to walk back onto your downward facing dog. And walk your feet to your hands. As you come forward fold, you may grab the opposite elbows and check your hips, shoulders, head. Get loose here. Now slowly inhale, lift the heart up. And exhale, bend your knees again. Let's try to grab your ankles and draw your elbows behind your legs. Feel free to bend your knees, but keep your chest and thighs together. Come up halfway, hands on your hips. And inhale, rise all the way up. Bring the palms together at the heart. Inhale, rise up. Look at your thumbs. And exhale, fold over your thighs. Heart forward, inhale. Exhale, step back into a plank. You can bring your knees down. First, bend the elbows for chaturanga. Inhale, lift the heart, cobra. Exhale, downward facing dog. Lift your kneecaps and thighs. Reach the tailbone to the ceiling. Look forward, step or jump to the front. Halfway up, inhale. And fold as you exhale. Squeeze your hips together. Inhale, rise up. Exhale, hands in prayer. Inhale, reach your arms up and forward bend. Come up halfway, flat back. And step or jump back into Chaturanga. Inhale, lift the heart, upward dog or cobra, and downward facing dog. Lift your right leg high to the sky. Exhale, knee to nose, and step your foot forward inside of the right hand. Come up into a warrior one as you inhale. And step your back foot slightly forward, and as you straight both legs here. Draw your elbows back, lift the heart, and fold over your right leg. You may have your hands on the floor, and send your ribs to your right foot. Press the ball of your right foot down as you press your outer left heel down. Inhale, lift the heart, bend the front knee, step back, Vinyasa or downward facing dog. Let's do the left side. Inhale, left leg high, and step forward, back heel down, come up onto a warrior one. Draw your left heel back as you send your right hip forward. And step the back foot a couple inches forward. Keep your hips square to the front of the mat as you exhale, fold. Sizzling your legs. Inhale, lift the heart, and exhale, step back, Chaturanga Dandrasana, upward dog or cobra, and we meet in downward facing dog. Lift the right leg high to the sky and exhale, step forward. From here, back knee down on the floor. And rest on your front thigh, or you can have the hands on the block. Keep your shoulders above the hips. You may have your hands on the thigh, or reach your arms up. You can add your upper back bend here. Wiggle your shoulders back. Keep pressing your front heel to draw your belly away from the front thigh. Rest your hands down on the block or on the floor. Move your hips back. Straight the front leg. And you can roll your leg in and out. Flex the foot here. And press the right thigh down. And exhale. Fold over your leg. Firm your outer left hip in. You may walk your hands forward. Keep pressing your right thigh down. Alright, from here, bend the front knee. Step back into Vinyasa. Raise your left leg up as you inhale. Draw your left knee to the nose and step forward. Lift the heart. And as you exhale, bring your knee down on the floor. And firm your legs and rise up. Belly away from the front thigh. You may reach your arms up here. Press the front heel as you send your right hip forward. Bring your hands down and move your hips back into a half split. Flex the foot and roll your leg in and out. Now knee and toes point to the ceiling. From your outer right hip in and lengthen your chest to your leg. And draw your outer left foot back. Inhale, lift the heart. Exhale, bend the front knee. Step back into your plank and do the vinyasa. Now roll forward and step your right foot outside of the right hand. Roll your hips back and forth, releasing the hips flexor and your quads in this lizard pose. And bring your knee down on the floor. Stay on your hands or have the elbows down. Keep your heart forward as you send your hips forward and down. If you press your inner right foot down, you will work on opening your inner right hip as well. Squeeze your knee to your shoulder. And from here, we're gonna twist. Roll your right toes and knees out to the right. Hand can be on the thigh or bend the back knee and grab your foot. Keep rolling your right shoulder back. From here, we'll do a half pigeon and half lizard pose. So foot still outside of the right hand, but lift your inner right foot up. Sway your right knee to the side. You can stay on your hands or come down on the elbows. This is a deep stretch for your hip. Come up on your hands and let's step back onto a plank and go back to downward facing dog. As you inhale, roll forward, step your left leg forward and roll your hips back and forth here. When you're ready, back knee down on the floor. Lizard pose. on your hands and turn the toes and knee out 45 degrees. Hands rest on your thigh or bend the back knee and grab the foot. And roll your left shoulder back. And release your hand. Lift your inner foot and draw your left knee out to the left. Keep your hips forward into a half pigeon, half lizard pose. Stay on your hands or come down on the elbows. And try to keep your hips level in this pose. Keep your left hip heavy. Come out of the pose and then step your leg back into a plank position. Exhale, downward facing dog. Walk your feet and hands together in the middle of the mat and slowly roll up. And turn to the side of the mat, fingertips together, bend your knees. Exhale, step or jump your feet wide, about one leg apart. Turn your right toes out 90 degrees, left foot slightly in. Reach your right arm forward. Squeeze your inner thighs together. Now release your right hand down on the block or on your leg. And imagine that you have a big beach ball between your legs. Squeeze that ball. Lean the left shoulder back. You're welcome to stay in triangle or reach your right arm forward and come balance on your right leg into a half moon pose. Roll your outer right thigh back so that your knee and the toes point to the front of the mat. Lightly step back and come onto the triangle pose on the other leg. Left toes out, right foot slightly in, left heel and right arch in the same line. Squeeze your hips, reach your left arm forward and down. Keep lengthen the left waist, nice and long. Stay in triangle or come forward into a half moon pose. Draw your bottom ribs in and energize through the top fingertips. Soft landing, right foot down and come up. Turn your toes in, heels out, feet about one leg apart. You may use the block under your shoulders or hands on the floor. And take a deep inhale, nice and long spine. And exhale, walk your hands back. Lift the hips high. And squeeze that big beach ball between your thighs together. And press the hands to lift your shoulder blades. Inner thighs back. heart forward. Exhale, hands on your hips, elbows up. Squeeze your sit bones together. Inhale, rise up. Fingertips together. Bend your knees, step or jump your feet in. Now let's get into a split pose. You have blocks in front of the mat and step your right leg forward as you set yourself for a low lunge pose. With or without blocks, keep your hands next to your hips. Draw the lower belly in and roll the shoulders back. And start to pulsing your hips forward and down. If you like to go deeper, start to wiggle your heel forward. So move slightly forward and keep pulsing your hips. As your hips come lower, you may adjust the block. And keep wiggle your heel. You may use the block to support the right hip. And keep your hands on the hips or straight your arms up. Firm the left glute. I like to hang my hips down, so I will keep my hands on the blocks and sizzling my legs together. You can press the front heel down as you draw your outer right hip back. And press the palms down as you step your right leg back. Let's do sit on your heels and wiggle your hips. And switch the side. Low lunge, left leg forward. And start to pulsing your hips. If you are new to the splits, you can stay in a low lunge. Otherwise, walk your heel forward, little by little. And keep pulsing your hips. Firm the right glute and send the right hip forward as you draw your other left hip back. Pull your pinky toe back. Scoop your lower belly in and up. To keep your hips square, you can keep the back toes tucked. But if you are settled in the pose, you can untuck the toes. Any variations for the arms? If you can keep the balance on your legs and hips, then you can lift your arms up. Really engage your legs if you don't have help from the arms. And start to come out of the pose. And let's rest in a child's pose. Let go of anything, including your expectation. It takes me many years in order to do this pose, and I still reach for the perfection of the pose. So take it easy, okay? From here, we're gonna wind down. Let's lie down on the back. We'll have your feet on the floor and hug your knees to your chest. You can rock from side to side. And from here, let's cross the right thigh above the left thigh and hug your thigh in, knees to chest. You can also grab the ankles or your feet, but keep your thighs together. Reach your hips forward and down. Moving to spinal twist, left leg on the floor. Lift the hips as you bring the hips to the right, knees to the left. You can do one leg only by stretching your left leg forward. Anchor the right shoulder down. And come back to center. Cross your right thigh above the left. Knee, chest in one line. A cow face pose, reclined. Pull your feet out to the side as you keep your pelvis heavy down. Relax your neck. Release your legs. And let's do the spinal twist. Move your hips to the left, knees to the right. Back to center. Hug your knees to your chest one last time. As you exhale, squeeze yourself like a small ball. Lift the head and exhale, release. Go ahead, spread your legs wide, about mat apart, arms away from the body. Let's sit yourself into a shavasana. Sometimes I like to bring the palms on top of my pelvis just to send the energy to my lower chakra area, just to recharge it during the shavasana. And before we leave the mat, give yourself a pat on the shoulder. Let this practice be one of the observation and acceptance of where we are. When we strike into the perfect pose, we'll begin to notice the perfection of our imperfection. Notice our attachments and aversions and try to let those dissolve as we fully embrace where we are right here and right now. Thank you so much for joining the class today. I hope you have a beautiful day. Namaste.